Okay, before we get started, I want everyone to read over the risk disclaimer and the hypothetical performance disclosure because it is very important for your sake as well as mine. Most of the things I'm going to be showing this morning in the room are based on the strategy, and that is considered a hypothetical performance result. So you need to be aware that just because it's a hypothetical performance report does not mean that your account will be able to produce the same results. Okay, you could actually have more losses or more profits, or anything could happen on the live edge of the market. Okay, so let's get started. And I do have one chart up, and it's not going to send out a signal because I turned the signal off. And I just want to show you what I mean by taking the trade signals. Okay, so in this case, you can see you were supposed to go short at 1926, and the time was 3 a.m. Okay, what does that mean? That means if it came out exactly at 3 a.m., then you would choose a 5 o'clock binary. Okay, but more than likely that came out before 3 o'clock. For example, 2:45. Okay, if it comes out at 2:45, that means you would have to choose the 4 a.m. binary option. Why? Because there's not any other option that you can choose unless you wait until 3 a.m. Does everybody understand that? Now, if you choose the 5 a.m., what's the issue with it? Well, the issue is you're not going to have the 6-bar minimum that I suggest that you have. Okay. Now, typically, let's say you're right at a market opening, and this was right at a market opening, that would be okay. Why? Because you have the power of the market opening to actually generate the volatility that you need to push this market in your direction. But let's say that it opened, the signal came in at 10:45 p.m. There's no market opening there to push the binary option. Do y'all understand that? That's where you're going to have an issue, okay? Because we've had really slow markets. So if you're in a really slow market, if you don't have that 6-bar minimum, guess what? It's probably going to lose money if you don't have the volatility to push price in your direction. Any questions on that one? Okay. Now, the next question is, how many of these are expiring in the money? This is actually something that's very new to me. I've always set a target on entry. Okay. I enter the binary option and then immediately I set a target. I've done that ever since I've been trading binaries. But when I was testing the strategy and as I started trading the strategy, I noticed, well, they're expiring in the money. A large portion of them are expiring in the money. And so when I saw that happening, I said, okay, I need to start measuring, because it looked like to me it was about 80% that were expiring in the money. That's a huge number of trades expiring in the money. I started tracking them last week, and it was exactly 80% of the trades that were expiring in the money. Okay. And that's very significant. Okay. Because that tells me if we have 10 winning trades, 8 of those are expiring in the money. Okay. The ones that seem to not expire in the money are the ones like this one right here, where you enter and immediately it moves 8 pips above your strike or the price given on the signal. Okay, those are the one, because it would have so much time remaining in the binary, you're better off to take your profits and run. Does everybody understand that one? And I mean, this is just like immediately, once you're filled, bam, there it goes. Okay. And it's usually on the very next bar that you get your target. Okay. And if you're watching it and you say, okay, in this case, the signal price was 79, and on the same bar it hit 89, you need to take your profit and run. Any questions on that one? And I mean, really, to me, there would be no reason to sit there for another hour, hour and a half waiting when you already have a profit and you can lock it in. Okay. Now, the other question I've received a lot on is, if you set a limit order, does everybody in the room know how to set a limit order? Let me pause the screen for a moment and I'll bring up a demo account on Nadex since I'm just going to randomly enter a trade. Okay, can everyone see my screen again? It should say Nadex demo. All right, let's go back and let's just arbitrarily do a trade on the euro, for example. Get some kind of, okay, let's say that we believe it's going to go up. Okay, so we're going to presume that we have a signal and the signal price is going to be 18.38. Okay, now that's in between 36 and 40. Okay, I'm going to choose 40, but I'm going to set a target at 45. This is the limit that I want to get in on. Okay, so I'm just going to enter it, and you can see it under your working orders. It shows you the price at 45, and sometimes you will see it hit that 45. Other times you will not even see it appear at 45, but it will still actually get you in the market. Okay, and I have had a limit order sit there up to 30 minutes before it was hit. Okay, and I just let it sit there. If it hits it, it hits it. Now, let's say that it gets up to 40, okay? Your indicative gets up to 40. In that case, I'll say, well, I'll go ahead and take one strike away from it, okay? In this case, it would be 44, and I could get in for under 45. Does everybody understand that one? It has to be right in that vicinity, though, okay? Price needs to be trading in that vicinity, okay? I'm not telling you, okay, price is now trading at, 32 and we're going in at 40. No, we want to see that price is actually trading at or near that area, okay? Now, when that happens, do you see how this has already gone into a profit? I go ahead and cancel this working order at 45. Does everybody understand that? And normally when I do this, it's within 4 pips of what the original strike was. Now, would I necessarily do that like on the British pound dollar, British pound yen, or the euro yen? No, those are 10 pips, okay? They're a little bit harder to maneuver versus the 4 pips. The 4 pips are my favorite, and I think everybody knows that, okay? The 4 pips, they're easy to actually do an out of the money. A great example was last night on the USD JPY. The signal came in at 69. I think it was 109.69, something like that. Okay, I went ahead and used the 72 because I could not get filled on the 69. And then price did expire at 73, so I made the full profit potential. So any questions on using the limit orders? And you could always set a limit order. For example, on a long, you would set it at 95. I mean, you're only missing $5 of the expiration price. I'm learning to allow them to expire. And remember, I said that, we were probably going to start retracements, and that's what we're getting right now because the euro dollar has been moving down all morning. Okay, so now it's starting that retracement that I posted the scanner window on Twitter and on Google Groups. When you get markets that are overextended on a 30 and a 60 minute, then the retracement on a 15-minute is going to be stronger. And what I am trying to do, which I've never done before, is trying to filter using the scanner window in what I'm seeing to filter out some of the losses, which, either way you go, even if you have all the losses, you're still, the strategy, I'll say, the strategy is still showing very good results. Okay. Any questions on anything so far? Now, the next question I've had a lot of questions on is, how do I know I'm always going to get filled at 45? Really, it comes down to price bars. And we're going to go back and look at a couple of these. And remember, to be filled at 45, it only typically needs to go 2 pips below the signal price. Okay? That means, let's just use the example on the euro dollar. Okay? Here, your signal price is 21.24. If price went to 1.2122, then you would be filled at 45 typically. Okay? Anything can happen with the binaries. Let's say that you only had 15 minutes until expiration. Well, you're probably not going to get filled. Okay? But if you have an hour and a half, there's no time decay yet, you're probably going to get filled. Now, typically, the very essence of the price bar is going to allow you to be filled at that $45 mark, because most price bars don't just open and go straight up. They always have this little bitty tail on it. Do y'all see that? Well, this little tail is what allows you to get into that trade. Okay? Does everybody understand what I mean by that? It's the bottom of the wick. So if I really blow this chart up a lot, okay, now we really have it blown up. Okay, So we have an entry price, and let me see where my drawing tools are. For some reason, I can't seem to find them. Okay, so this price bar closed right here, okay? Your entry signal was on the high, but when you got your entry signal, it also went down and closed right here, okay? That was just enough probably to give you that $45 limit order. Well, what if it didn't, okay? This price bar opened right here. You see the bottom of the body? So this price bar would have provided your fill on the limit order. Do y'all understand that? Well, no, you were going short. Well, you still would have got it. You would have got it on this bar right here when it went above, because that's a short position. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't notice it was short. And in this case, because you're short, your limit order is 55, because that's what gives you your risk of 45. This is where everybody gets confused. When you're going long, you set your target, and this has even confused me. So if you're confused about it, don't worry, I am too. Okay, you set a limit order at 45. On a short, the value is going down on the binary, remember? So in order to get a $45 risk, you have to set your limit order at 55. 100 minus 55 equals 45. Does everybody understand that now? This is showing you the profit potential on the short side, but you have to subtract it from 100 to get your actual risk. And this is what gets confusing. It confuses a lot of people. And this is also why I tell you in the rules on longs, set your limit order to 45. On shorts, set your limit order at 55. Any questions on that? How long do I let a limit order set if it's not filled? Normally, I'll look at my chart, Mika, and let's just say, for example, it was over here, and I saw all of these, down, down, down bars. Then I'm going to cancel it because I know it's not going to get hit. Normally, from what I've seen, the limit order is usually filled within about 15 minutes. Now, there have been times that I didn't see the order right away. This is a good example over here. The order came in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, let's say that I was getting coffee when this one came in, okay? And I didn't get back to the computer until 3:45. Then I would take this one and I could probably still get it at 45. And it would be fine for me. This one came in, let's say 3 o'clock. This would be 5 o'clock, which is here. And that's provided it came in exactly at 3 o'clock. But one of the reasons is because that was a reversal bar too, Mika. And I just about guarantee you there was a congestion dot above there. I would bet that this flipped the ATR. Not when it's like that, especially because that was a market opening. In this case, the signal, okay, it's 6 bars from the signal time, Mika, but I didn't actually enter until here. So I would go ahead and choose either the 4 a.m. or the 5 a.m., probably the 5 a.m. I've made a couple of 30-minute binaries doing that. And for example, if I just put the trend on here, in this, you would need the trend indicator to do this, Mika, which I know you haven't, so it's not a big issue. Well, I thought I put it on there. Yeah. Okay, now we got it. Now see how I would be able to see that, Mika? So in this case, I know, okay, I can still take this trade because it's still at an area of resistance. In a lot of these trades, just by the very nature, if you have been to any of my training sessions at all, then you know I tell you the price will flip the ATR, form the congestion dot, and come back to test that ATR. Okay, so even if it closes above the value that is giving in the signal, if you just add 2 pips to that signal, then you know exactly where the ATR is. Okay, and typically when that happens, it will come back to test the new ATR, which is here. Does everybody understand that? So, and I'll just calculate one out for you. This one, the signal came in at 22.37. Okay, that was the signal price, 1.2237. Okay, now the euro dollar has 4 digits. So if I add 2, that tells me that the actual ATR was at 122.39. Okay. Now, because this price bar right here closed above this value, I know visually this has flipped an ATR, but I am expecting these 2 bars right here. They're reversal bars, okay? This is what signals, okay, now is the time that we're going to go back and test the ATR. I'm probably still safe in my trade. Do y'all understand that? Does it always work? No, nothing's 100% except for the signals today. But typically, this is the formation that does occur. When does this signal fail? Usually when the 60-minute is also overextended. In that case, again, you get bigger retracements. Now, what is your expectation when you enter a signal? Okay. If you're going short, okay, your expectation should always be that the previous low will be exceeded, okay? Because that's the way a market works, okay? It goes down, makes a high, goes down, makes a high, goes down, makes a high, until it doesn't, okay? And then it will come back and usually take out this high, Does everybody understand? This is the basics of a market. Unless it's consolidating, this is the basis of a market, okay? For an uptrend, you make a high, make a higher low, and then you proceed on, okay? And then you will take out that low and make a lower high, and at this point, you're probably in trouble, okay? So in this case, if you're in a binary to the short side, okay, let's say that we were in this short, we made this high over here, our expectation is this low will be taken out. But let's say that right here we form a reversal bar, it's confirmed on the next bar, you're probably going to lose. It's the way the markets work. Does everybody understand that? So when I go into a short position, what is my expectation? Look at the last low, it should be exceeded. If I go in a long position, what is my expectation? The previous high would be exceeded. Any questions? In this case, do you see where this low was right here? Then we had another low here. If this makes it up to this ATR, okay, would my expectation still be that this low right here be taken out? Probably not, because I know they're overextended. Short of being overextended though, my expectation would be, let me erase all of my drawings. My expectation would be, okay, this low will be taken out. Okay, if you enter here with an expectation of that low being exceeded, then you're going to make your target. Typically, I should say. I have to be careful about my words. Over here, okay, you can see, okay, do you see how it came back and tested? Here was a low, it came back to test it over here. It might have exceeded it by one tick, okay? This is when you're in trouble, okay? And this very well may happen on this one right now, okay? There's a potential that this low will hold, but I don't think it's going to make it back to retest very well. And that's just experience, okay? Nothing else. Now, do y'all have any questions? Because this is where you come and you ask questions because, you know, for whatever reason, you're not understanding the signals or how to enter an order or whatever. Now is the time to ask the questions. I'm here, I'm available, and I really want all of you to be successful. But if you're not telling me what issues you're having, I can't help. And most of the results, I'm actually, if I'm not in the trade, then I'm going to the time and sales to verify that price did expire in the money or use the low of the bar. Most of the time, this will actually show me. The strategy does have to move 10 pips, okay? I don't wait for the confirmation bar at all. The only time I would be if I miss the signal and I'm trying to create, maybe my own 15 or 30-minute binary. Then I do, because I need the power of the reversal bar. Should you wait for the stochastics to turn in your favor before entering? I don't. Because remember, the strategy is now measuring the stochastics values. So if it's not within a certain parameter, the strategy won't take the signal anyway. And I don't issue complicated signals, okay? I took all of the complicated signals that you had to verify out of the strategy, okay? The strategy already verifies the stochastics. So if it's telling you you have an entry, you have an entry, basically. I think Mark Douglas said it best on this strategy: just take the trade. And I do realize some of you may only be trading during the US session, and that's when I stop the signals. Like today, I stopped the signals, okay? I cannot help when the market moves. The market moves when the market wants to move. But if I can prevent a loss, then that's what I'm going to do. What are your options, Ayo? Do you have like an hour or 2 hour option? Because I'm really just familiar with the Nadex version. You don't have 2 hours? What other options do you have? Do you have just a 1 hour? Okay. If you can paste it up, I can pretty much tell you. If I had only a 1 hour option, then I would wait for a reversal bar. Because that's what I do when I miss a signal. That's, believe it or not, that's where their edge comes in, Ayo. And they do have an edge when they don't allow you a 2 hour. They get the edge. If you had a 1 hour, I would want to see a reversal bar. Especially if it's during Asia. During London, not as much, but then again, I'm looking at the indicators, so it's kind of hard to do that one. Well, I tell you what I can do. All right. Right now, the strategy performance report shows 56%. Okay. And I'm getting better than what this strategy is showing on the percentages. Okay. So if I come over and tell it to do, let's see, let's do 4 on the bar to exit on. let it recalculate the strategy, and I can tell you what's happening. It would give a lot more signals is one of the things. Yeah, so it's only allowing you a 1 hour binary period. Hold on just a moment and let me see what the strategy says. It's having to recalculate all of the entries. Let me make sure I did it right. Yep. Okay. So this one came in at 3 o'clock. That was 4 o'clock. And let's see what the strategy performance report shows. We were at 56. We're down to 53. So what I would do on it, and that's consistent on both long and shorts, I probably would just simply not take the Asian trades or trades that occurred during a market report. But other than that, you would probably be okay. Just make sure the market's moving. That's going to be your most important factor on that one. Does that make sense? Yeah, a trending market or just a market that is actually moving. We've had a lot of days where the market is just barely moving. It's like, okay, is it going to move at all? So when you see that, then you know it's not the best time to trade. And I mean, this had 6,800 trades that it calculated. I'm located in North Carolina on the East Coast. And some days it's like everything in London will lose money. In the US, every trade will make money, or the majority of the trades will. Sometimes it will be during Asia. The market moves when the market wants to move. And that's one of the most important factors that as a trader you have to learn. But it makes it hard if you have a day job. When do you trade? Well, I would suggest trading, like 4 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning East Coast time, or at least 8 o'clock, because you can get some really good trade during those hours usually. Have you tried, God, what is it? It's the people that own Nadex. Oh, God. They have a swaps over in the UK, but it's the same company that actually owns Nadex. And just because I need the name, I forgot it. But they're based in London, and they actually have offices all over the European Union. Um, Hold on, I'll find it. Um, I would think that they offer the same products that Nadex does for the U.S. No, it's not CMS Trader. Uh, Swaps in London. If you hadn't have asked me, I could have told you, because I have one of my clients right now that's over in London, and they would be the only one that I would actually use. God, I don't know why it's escaping me all of a sudden. I mean, if I was in London, it's the only ones that I would choose. But I can't find them now. Okay, hold on, because I just sent someone a link to their website, and I'll go in my email and find them. So give me just a minute. If anybody else has a question, if you can go ahead and type it up, I'll be glad to answer it for you. I just really want to find this because it's aggravating me that I can't remember. IG, that's who it is. I knew it was somebody. I knew it started with an I, but I couldn't remember the other one. Let's see. There it is. Okay. And they actually own Nadex. So I would think, I don't know for sure because I can't see their full website over here, but I would think that, they would have something that was similar to Nadex. And I did actually, okay, it's not similar. That's unusual. I would have thought they would be. Well, I know they do, it's called, I guess, spread betting. Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at their product details now, but it doesn't show me whether it gives you the option for a 2 hour on the CFDs, which is very comparable to the binaries. And I believe they have a lot more of them that are, no, they have the same ones offered. But I don't see, and I would bet that you could do the swaps that they offer as well, because they do those 24 hours a day as well. But again, you'll have to, yeah. I thought I had seen IQ option. I didn't like them before. Um, why wouldn't you have a sell option before expiration? That wouldn't make sense to me. Hmm. I guess you could only take longs then. I don't know. I would really look at IQ feed. Not IQ feed. IQ. Listen to me. IG. Okay. That would be the one that I would choose. Okay. But I mean, just looking at the statistics, do they have an automatic payout where, like if you did 20 to you would make 40? Because that's going to be your other issue. because it's a maximum of 1-to-1. I think most of them only pay out 90%, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of them I looked at, they only paid out 90%. 80% payout, yeah, I wouldn't like that at all. Because everything that I've shown, if you're expiring in the money with Nadex, you're making a 1.2. And that 1.2 really adds up. But well, it does a couple of things. Number one, it allows you to take, even 0.6 on ones that move really quick in your favor. But then you get the 1.2, which is double on the ones that are expiring in the money, which is pretty significant. Okay, let me change this back. Well, I'm not going to because it's going to take too long. Do you see how this is actually hitting the ATR right now? Okay, you're not getting a signal because the stochastics is overextended. That's why you're not getting a signal right now. It's difficult sometimes, but if you're just using limit orders, I don't use Nadex for anything other than order entry. Okay, and I'll show you real quick. You can see I don't have this watch list open, okay, because the watch list just aggravates the piss out of me. Okay, so I always hit refresh because that gives me the latest binaries. Okay, I know I'm trading just the Forex and I'm looking for something on the euro, and depending on what time the signal came in. Let's say the signal came in at 10 o'clock, well, I'm looking 10 to 12. If it came in at 10:30, I'm looking 10 to 12. If it comes in at 11, okay, now I'm bumping it up to 1 o'clock. This is very easy to use if you use it this way, okay? Typically, your 50-50 is going to be your at the money, okay? So let's go, let's move over to 11 a.m., okay? For 11 a.m., it's not started yet. Okay, can't do that one. We'll have to, okay, no, we can't do that one either. Let's go to 3 p.m., okay? I don't ever use the dailies, but in this case, I'm going to give you an example, okay? Which one is closest to 50? It would be 1860, okay? Now, do you see how this is trading at 61? And this is a great example of this happening, and I didn't know I was going to get this, okay? So you're trading at 61, okay? That's not even 2 pips above this number. That tells me that has a lot of premium on it because it should be right at 50, max 55, okay? So immediately, if I was looking at this binary, I would say, I don't want that, okay? They've overpriced this binary, okay? Because it should be 50, okay? Now, and I can pull up, we'll start at 11 o'clock when new binaries come up. I'll show you. If you know this stuff, it's really easy to use Nadex, okay? But if you're trying to scroll down here and find, it's a disaster, especially when they're blinking like this, which aggravates me anyway. Let's go to 11. That's got 2 minutes until it opens. You can see that because it says 2 hours and 2 minutes. You can go ahead and start looking, okay, the indicative is at 62. That would be this one, okay? And this one may come out a little bit above 50, okay? It doesn't matter. Set your target at 45. Now, let's say that the premium is 65. Small chance you're going to get filled, okay? Very small chance. But if you're trading 50 to 55, you set that 45 limit order, you're probably going to get filled unless price just takes off, which sometimes it does. No, it does not limit losses at all. It's either you make money or it expires in 6 bars. And I had to use 6 as a variable in there because we get a lot of them at like 315 or 330. So 6 was a good number. Now I do go back and actually say, okay, this signal came in at 3 o'clock. So I go to my email to see what time did it actually come out. And in this case, it came out a little bit before 3. So the only expiration would have been 4 o'clock. Okay. And that's the reason if you ever see my charts as I mark them up, you'll see that sometimes the expiration might be here, but I have a line drawn here. It's because I actually go back and verify what time would you have used on that particular binary. Because I try to get this as close to being really accurate as I possibly can. Because I think the statistics will actually give you the confidence to take the trade, okay? And again, I have not ever filtered the trades before, but I am starting to, because I mean, if I won't take the trades, why would I think you would take the trades? Especially because I've got more experience, okay? Now, I realize that may upset some people, but if you really want to lose the money, send me an email and I'll let you have the signals anyway. That's the way I feel about it. Now, I am just this week started tracking, okay, how many of the signals are coming out when, and I put that in the post yesterday, okay? So far this morning, we've had 2 during Asia, we've had 5 during London, and 1 during the US session. And this is using the expiration times, okay? And again, this will change according to the way the market's moving. Sometimes it doesn't move at all or it consolidates during London. Okay. So, you may have a series of losses during London, but then the US is the better session to trade. I never know which one it's going to be. The ones that I generally do not monitor a lot would be Asia, simply because I'm getting sleep during Asia. Personally, I would rather have 10 trades that make money versus 15 and 10 made money and 5 lost money. Are there any other questions? Are there any issues that you are having? Now would be the time to tell me. Is it better to set a profit target if I get in early with 8 bars remaining? Yes. From what I'm seeing, that's what I do. And I don't necessarily set a target, only because if you just got into the binary, there's a full 2 hours until expiration. More than likely, you're only going to get $30 to $35 on that if it moves 8 pips in your favor. And that's generally what I am seeing, because it moved in it. There's no time decay. Does everybody understand that? When you get in with an hour and a half, which is the 6 bars, okay, it's 6 15-minute bars equals 1.5 hours. So you get in and it goes up a little bit, and then it goes up a little bit, and then it goes up a little bit. Well, each 15-minute par is decreasing the time remaining on the binary, which allows time decay to kick in, okay? And by the time you get to that, 15-minute until expiration, you pretty much have $85, $95 as a limit order. If you have 2 hours remaining, there's, if it went in your favor in that first 15-minute bar, you still have an hour and 45 minutes for that binary to reverse. Do you understand that, Mike? And that's a lot of time for it to potentially reverse. That's also, if you saw the video I did last week, I believe it was, on risk to reward, okay? If you do a 0.6, that's about $27 in profit, which is just about what you will get on one that moves 8 pips immediately in your favor. So if we get 20% of those and allow the remaining 50% to expire in the money, or at least take a break even trade doesn't count against you, then your equity graph should look really nice. It should. Sometimes it surprises us, but statistically, it should be a nice equity graph. Does everybody understand that? Any other questions on that? Well, the break even's a little bit hard, but let's say that you entered one and it moved in. When it moved in your favor, you got up and went and got a cup of coffee, okay? And you come back and it had moved in your direction, and now you're back to maybe $5 of profit, okay? $5 is significant to me because it covers the cost of the trade, okay? So I can say, okay, I'm going to scratch this because I'm not going to lose $45 now. And I'm just going to wait for the next signal. And I've probably only done maybe 3 break-even trades in the last 3 weeks. And generally, it's only because I was not sitting here and I didn't see it move in my direction. Yeah, that would be considered an early exit. That is not measured in the strategy, and it is not measured in this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet, either you lose or you achieve an 8 pip target, for example, or you let it ride until expiration. Because again, break even, to me, it just doesn't count at all, because it's like you didn't even do a trade. As long as you get that $5 in profit, it's like you didn't even do a trade, because you covered the cost of your trade. To me, it doesn't count at all. Any other questions? Any other issues that y'all are having? Anything that you don't understand? Well, that just threw me for a loop. Okay, now's the time to ask. I'm here, I'm available. The only problem is I don't read your mind. I would just about bet it would be, unless, we're having a really good day and the markets are not overextended. The afternoons tend to trade really slow. And, to be honest, let's see, let's do this one, okay? Most of the days here, I ended the day early. I would rather you end the day on a positive note versus a bad note, okay? For example, on this day, okay, if I had continued the signals, you probably would have lost some of your profit. Why not keep it in the bank, okay? In the afternoons, we'll tend to be losing only because it barely moves most of the time. Or that's when you're getting a consolidation period. That's when you may be getting retracements, okay? So it's not about how many trades you get, but about really good trades, okay? If you, and this is going to be an issue, if you are locked into only trading between 2 and 5 p.m. New York time, then the signals are not going to work for you. It's that simple. I'm not going to run them. Okay. If you want to trade every single day just because you want to trade, the signals are not going to work for you. Because I'm not going to let other people lose just because you want the signals to run all day so you can trade. Okay? They're not going to work for you. This Thursday is option expiration. And I very well may stop the signals on Thursday and Friday, depending on what we do tomorrow. Okay? Because we are up for the week. Okay? So far, right now, so far this week, if you've taken the signals, then you are up $594. Okay? Now, I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. It might kick it back down to 300. Okay? But if we stay anywhere around where we are right now, okay, then we're not going to trade Thursday and Friday. Take the day off, go have fun, enjoy yourself. Okay? Because my experience is Thursday and Friday, we're going to have bad markets. Because they're going to have option expiration, the price is going to go crazy, it's not going to do very well, and you're going to lose money. Okay? And again, it comes back to, I don't know what I did, but we're going to close that. It comes back really to whether we're in this to make money or whether we're in this to lose money. Option expiration always tends to be very bad, because people that are trading options are going to run price to where they want it to expire, which has nothing to do with technical analysis. That's when you're getting into market makers. Let's say, just for example, okay, that option expiration this Thursday, okay, and the market makers want the euro to close above 1.20, okay, it's going to close above 1.20. I don't care what my indicators say, that's what it's going to close, because they control the market. Do you really want to get in that piss fight? I don't. It's never shown on Forex Factory. Typically, it's the third Friday of the month, but it starts on Thursday, okay? That's sort of like, okay, non-farm employment, the signals will not run. FOMC, signals will not run. Rate announcements, signals are not going to run. Just this Thursday and Friday. It's the third Friday of the month, but it begins on Thursday. So that's when you start paying attention to it. If I lose the third week of every month for 6 months straight, that tells me, hey, something's going on. And I have measured it, and I hate it. I hate the third week of the month. That's the reason you see me limiting the signals this week more than any other week. Okay, I'm going to limit those signals. Okay. Well, the whole purpose of trading is to be profitable and to keep your money in the bank when it's not advised to trade. Okay. And there's not a lot that I pay attention to, but there are some things that I do pay attention to. And I mean, if you sit back and you look at the number of signals that we have had in the last, well, this will be 4 weeks. So hold on. So we've had 18 signals so far this week. Okay. The last week of April, we had 106. We had 63 the week after that. Last week, we had 91. Now we had 18. Hey, it's okay. It's okay to take a light week. And this is something, a lot of traders struggle with the concept of, hey, I don't have to trade. I call it trading like a banshee every single day. I need to trade when the market's moving. When there are good trades, that's when I need to trade. And I have no qualms about getting up and leaving the computer. And look at Forex Factory, okay? Let's see. Let me bring it up. So Forex Factory, okay, I've got that right. And if I go here and do this week. Okay. Typically, your best days are going to be days that are not full of market reports. Okay. Today we had core retail sales. That's generally a 20 to 30 pip move. So I'm not too worried about that one. Okay. And normally the 15-minute does call that one. Okay. The British pound you had at 4:30. The Aussie you have tonight at 9:30. This one I don't measure, so I don't know what to expect for that one tonight. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock you have the ECB president speaking. Then you have building permits. Then you have crude oil inventories. Then you have the Swiss franc guys speaking. And then tomorrow night you have the employment rate change. That's about a 40 pip move. Okay. Thursday is when you have option expiration. This is when it starts. Okay. And then on Friday, you have the CPI for the Canadian. Well, I don't have any signals on the Canadian, so I don't worry about that. These 2 days are off because of option expiration. I thought Monday and Tuesday would be the best days to trade. Okay. It's really based on market reports. This day was out because it's a bunch of junk. I don't want to trade that. These two are out because of option expirations. Okay. This is the way I do my schedule in general. All right. Now let's go to the following week. On Monday, there is a holiday over in London and in Canada. Okay. So I'll look at the markets, but it's going to be really slow. Tuesday, I will probably like because there is nothing in the way of my trades. Wednesday, you have the FOMC. Okay. You may get a good movement right before the FOMC, like that morning, but that afternoon is a no-go. Okay. Thursday is probably going to be a good day. Okay. Then, depending on how well our statistics are, we may do Friday, but then again, we may not. Okay. If we have built up a nice profit for the week, then Friday will be a holiday for us. Does everybody understand that? Why? Because I'm not going to let you give back profits you just made. And that's what it's all about. I mean, you want to trade because it gives you freedom, but then you want to sit all day in front of the computer and trade, trade, trade. Oh, no, I do. I actually posted on Google Groups and I posted on Twitter. Now, some days I won't be able to monitor the signals, you know, and you saw me post that a couple of days last week. You know, I won't be here. I won't be monitoring the trades. Okay. And I do try to post that kind of information ahead of time so y'all know, okay, you know, if I take these, I'm on my own because she's not monitoring them. And it doesn't mean they'll lose. It just means I'm not here watching them. And most of my clients will tell you, I live and breathe this. You know, there's not a moment that I don't know what's going on in the market. Not on Forex anyway. You can. You know, if I'm not here, then, you know, the signals are going out and I'm measuring the performance. Okay. Well, you just have to take the signals if you don't have the indicators. That's the only thing you can do. If I'm not here, they will not be filtered. Like this afternoon, I had to take my mom to the doctor, so I won't be filtering the trades, which they're off right now anyway. Um, yeah, all of this is from my indicators. You know, wait a minute. Hold on just a moment, and I'm trying to pop it out. So, okay, this is what I'm looking at as far as filtering. Do you see all of these magenta peaks coming in on the 60-minute? That's why I turned them off. Because this tells me these are retracing on a 60-minute chart. You're going to get stopped out on this time frame. Okay? And I know that. I've been using these for a long time. Do you see all of these oversold markets right here? Look at the yen at 70 on the ADX, okay? You're oversold, you're oversold, you're oversold, which I could have told you that, okay? Don't be taking those signals. No, this is multi-charts. Multi-charts by far is the best one, but you have to buy the platform, which is about $1,500, but it lets me monitor everything within one screen. There's also TradeStation allows you to do that. NinjaTrader does not allow you to monitor it as good as multi-charts in TradeStation. And I don't think you can do this in MT4. Multi-charts does have a trial version, and you can get the Forex data for $30 a month from IQFeed.net. They have a special on their Forex, which is what I use. Their link is multicharts.com and IQFeed.net. Forex only is 30. And basically, and I'll tell you the overview right now of what the signals are doing. Whoop, hold on. I have to pop these out so that I can pin them here. And I'll show you the ones that you're getting with the signals versus the ones that you're not getting with the signals. Okay. What is this? The Aussie. Let's go to the USD JPY because it's been a better market this morning. All right. So remember I told you have to have 2 time frames in your direction. Okay. So in this case, you want the white and the blue in your direction. You want price to come to the ATR. Okay. Let me make this yellow so you can actually see it. So actually, you had an entry here, but you couldn't take it because of the stochastics. Okay. This is, you should have been filtering the trades before. This is the filtering. Okay. So you didn't have an entry here, but then you had an entry here that met the criteria. You're not overextended on either one of these. Okay. You had another entry here. Again, you're not overextended. And you probably had another entry, I think it was about here. This was the 10 o'clock, this was the 11 o'clock entry. Okay, and again, you met the criteria because you were not overextended. You had the entry here, and then you probably had an entry here. Let's see if I drag that down. No, this one, well, no, you did get it because I remember the signal. So in all, you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signals. Yeah, this is on multi-charts. This is the volume indicator. This is the stochastics. The stochastics. This is the ATR support and resistance. Now, do you see how this is overextended right now? Even if it was to touch right here, it will not give a signal because you're overextended. And Io, I think you were the one that asked me if you could trade spot Forex on this. This is where you really get the benefit, is doing the indicators, because you can actually see this is a trending market. Just go with it. But now, probably shouldn't. And this is the same, trading plan, or I call it the trade flow, that I've always used. And I say, okay, does the stochastics confirm it? Is it overextended? Is it overbought? Okay, this is what I've been talking about, but people were having issues with it, which is why I designed the strategy. And now it just does it automatically. And I mean, this just tells me there's trend divergence, this magenta dot, okay? And if I extend that out, do you see how you just had that? They tried to retest it right there on that bar. But I already know it's overextended anyway, so I'm expecting it to go down. It's probably going to come to this ATR, okay? You can set it up to give you alerts. What you're missing is the combined, signal alert. You have to filter these yourself, and I just put it all on one window, okay? And that way I can see it. I'm trying to find, I pinned this, that's why. That's really cool. In multi-charts, you can pin this and it won't move, but you just have to remember that you pinned it. This one, for example, price at the ATR, that will send you an email alert. You have price at an ATR, okay? But then you need to click on it and say, okay, what does that mean? Does the stochastics on the higher time frame, is it against your trade? In this case, it is, because it's overextended. You never want to go against these magenta peaks, okay? A magenta peak tells you that you are going back to an ATR on a higher time frame. For example, AO, this is going to go 40 pips up, okay? This has still got 28 pips to go up. This one is going to go up 47 pips. This is going to go down another 10 pips. This one, when it kicks off, is going to go against you 40 pips. That means it's going to come down 40 pips from where it is currently. Do you understand that? That's the reason we watch that particular column. You don't want to take a trade against that. Any other questions this morning, guys? If you wanted to see it visually, okay, here's the 30-minute. Do you see how it's overextended on both the ADX and the stochastics? All right. Now, if you look at the 60-minute, do you see how you're overextended on the stochastics and the ADX? This is probably going to come down to, I would say about 110, because this ATR is going to pull up. That means the significance is, if you're taking a short entry on a 15-minute, a long entry on the 15-minute, because the 60-minute is going to go down, you're going to have a loss. Now, I could see that, which is why I stopped the signals, okay? In other words, it's giving me heads up, you're going to get some losses in here, okay? Well, I don't want you to have losses. So why let the signals run? that wouldn't be very bright for me. So I stop them. If I start seeing, and this is a great example, because remember last week we had, I told you the markets were going through a consolidation. Okay. When the markets start going through a consolidation period, let me find one. This is the best example right here. They went from from red to blue back to red. Okay. This is your consolidation area. Okay. If I see consolidation like this on a 15-minute chart, I'll stop it until I see, okay, now they're going to start moving it down. Then I'll start it back up. Now, I have a couple of different packages. If you just wanted like the ATR support and resistance with the stochastics, you could do the create your own package. The silver package actually comes with all the indicators and video training. And then the diamond package comes with all the indicators, the video training, and 10 hours of training with me. We use GoToMeeting. So, and the difference is, for example, this would be an entry point for someone that had the indicators. Okay. Here would be another entry point. Okay. So you're getting 3 entry points where this one had 1. Let me put it back. Yep. That sounds great. Okay. Any other questions? Of course, if any of you have trouble, I'm always available by email and by text. Okay. Thank you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And I will post this video up later. If you want to go back and refresh your memory on some of the concepts, you can do that. Okay? All right. Everybody have a wonderful day, and